Questions orales, oral questions. We're going to have
the Honourable Leader of the Opposition. The protests, the violent protests in Montreal are the consequence of a Prime Minister who, for 9 years, has promoted woke, toxic, divisive identity politics that divides Canadians according to race, sex, vaccination status, etc. And along with dividing Canadians, he's erasing our history. He's allowing terrorists and criminals to come into our country. What's the result? 251 more hate crimes. When will he allow us to have an election so that we can fix what he has broken? The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, and let me be very clear. What was on display in Montreal just this past weekend was criminality. The violence, the hatred, and the anti-Semitism that took place in Montreal is completely unacceptable, and everyone in this House must condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The lawless hate riot that we saw in the streets of Montreal is what happens after 9 years of a woke Prime Minister pushing radical woke identity politics, dividing people by race, gender, vaccine status, religion, and more. On top of dividing, he erases our heroes and history, saying Canada has no core identity. He opened the borders to terrorists and lawbreakers. The results? Assassinations on Canadian soil, firebombings and terrorist attacks against places of worship, 251% more hate crime. It wasn't like this before this Prime Minister and won't be after he's gone. Why not an election so we can fix what he broke?
the Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Mr. Speaker, I personally believe that it is shameful that anyone would speak of the violence that took place on our streets here in Canada in political terms for purely partisan political intention. Mr. Speaker, I believe it is all of our responsibility to stand up to such hatred and to condemn it in the strongest possible terms, unequivocally and on behalf of all decent Canadians.